In the midst of this fierce and intense information war, it can be quite difficult to have a firm grasp of what's going on in Libya and keep up to date with the latest developments in these clashes between the forces fighting with the internationally recognized government, the GNA, and Haftar's forces, the self-styled Libyan National Army, the LNA. However, there are certain variables, certain milestones that we can look out for that will give a definitive reading of which way the tide is going, which way the momentum is going in the recent conflict. The first of these is the state of Al-Watiya Air Base. Al-Watiya Air Base is the supply line for Haftar's forces that are attacking Tripoli. It is a fundamental base in the west that has allowed Haftar to maintain that Tripoli offensive. And it is the base that is protected by the Wagner Group, according to reports. It is the base that the Russians believe is most important for Haftar to remain in control. Now, the GNA have announced on numerous occasions, numerous major offensives, numerous zero-hour operations to take Al-Watiya, but it appears that Al-Watiya is still in Haftar's hands. And the reason why this is a milestone is because the control of Al-Watiya is difficult to hide in the information war. If the GNA take Al-Watiya, they will sing about it for days on social media. It will be impossible to hide. There will be videos plastered all over social media because everybody knows what a blow it will be to Haftar's forces if Al-Watiya is taken. Now, the fact that it hasn't been taken, let's compare it to the way that Surman, Sabrat, Ajaylat, in the initial stages were taken very quickly. The fact Al-Watiya has not been taken suggests that the military operations have hit a snag, that they are not going as smoothly as perhaps the GNA would like, or perhaps as Turkey would like. So despite the fact that the social media gives this indication that Haftar is on the verge of a major defeat, the fact that Al-Watiya is still standing suggests that it is more complex than perhaps it first seems. The second milestone is Tarhuna base. Tarhuna is the second part of this spine. With Tarhuna and Al-Watiya, Haftar is able to restart an offensive at any moment. Tarhuna seems to still be standing. It seems to still be holding out. If Tarhuna is taken, again, the GNA will sing about it for days. The fact that they have not done so suggests that the military operations on Tarhuna are proving to be more difficult than originally expected. The third aspect is the statements coming out from Sarraj. And the reason why I mentioned this particular point is because there is a strange statement that Sarraj made in which he called for talks. Now, to put this into context, when the momentum was wholly in the side of Sarraj in the beginning, when they were taking Surman, Subrata, Ajaylat, and driving out Haftar's forces in a very swift manner, Sarraj ruled out negotiations with Haftar, blaming Haftar, saying that he never respects negotiations in the first place. The fact that Sarraj now is calling for talks, despite the fact that he hasn't taken Al-Watiya and hasn't taken Tarhuna, the two key bases that form the spine of the Tripoli offensive, suggests all is not well, suggests that there is a pressure being exerted on Sarraj that does not give him the freedom to continue pursuing a military operation that leaves him in a stronger state, that leaves him in a stronger stead. And there could be a number of reasons for this. One could be that quite simply the militias are no longer listening to him. The militias were fighting with Sarraj in the first place, not out of respect for his authority, but out of fear of Haftar. In other words, if Haftar had won, the game would be over for all of them. But if Haftar is driven back, the game continues and they are able to jostle for power. They can lobby Turkey for either defense ministry or the premiership or the president of the council of the internationally recognized government. In other words, Sarraj believes that it could be that as the victories come in, Sarraj believes that his power is getting weaker. The second option could be that Algeria is pressuring Sarraj and does not want Turkey to take Al-Watiya because it believes that Al-Watiya will go to Turkey and become a Turkish military base that will form the beginning of a Turkish presence that will never leave Libya. We have to remember that whilst Algeria recognizes that but for Turkey intervention, Sarraj would have been defeated, whilst there is an implied acceptance that Turkish intervention is necessary, Algeria remains suspicious of Turkey's ties with Qatar, which Algeria blames for trying to exacerbate protests and domestic unrest in Algeria, and also believes that the way that Turkey is embedded in northern Syria, the Algerians quite simply believe that they are the major power in North Africa and they do not want a rival. In other words, they want to say to the Turks, thank you for rescuing Sarraj, we'll take it from here, we want negotiations. So it may well be that this is one of the pressures that is being put on Sarraj. And the third is that quite simply that despite Haftar's unilateral declaration of declaring Libya, of self-rule in Libya, of declaring himself the ruler of Libya, the international reaction has been quite muted. There hasn't been much of a backlash to Haftar. Aqil Saleh is not being supported by the international community opportunity to go against Haftar. According to reports, Aguila Saleh said that the United Nations have made it clear they recognize Sarraj. In other words, it doesn't matter if Aguila Saleh goes against Haftar, he will not receive the international recognition he needs to take down Haftar. So in other words, it seems that Sarraj is changing his position for any one of these reasons, but the fact that he's changing his position without taking Al-Watiya and Tarhuna suggests that there is a problem. It does not suggest strength in any meaning of the word. The last thing that has to be said, we have to remember that when Turkey entered northern Syria, not Libya, when it entered northern Syria, anybody could have been forgiven for believing that Turkey were on the cusp of altering the entire military dynamics in Syria. The way that the information war was going suggested that Assad's forces were on the verge of a major defeat in Idlib, and Idlib was about to be liberated, and the Syrian opposition would suddenly find a renewed momentum. However, Turkey, after helping opposition forces take Saraqib, they lost it within 48 hours. Erdogan was soon in Moscow. They signed the deal, and all of a sudden it seemed that the mood fell flat, and Turkey did not secure that change in military tide that everybody was expecting. In other words, there is a precedent in which that the beating of the drums, this information war that suggests that everything is going one way, can suddenly flip 180 degrees when reality hits hard. And this is why it's important to follow the three variables: the Al-Watiya Air Base, Tarhuna, and the statements of Sarraj. And this is what will give us an indication as to what is going on. And let's remember, as Abu Sufyan said, Al-Harbu Sijal, war is fought in different stages, war is fought in different phases. Battlefields can change at any moment. So until the battle is over, it will be very difficult to predict who will win or how things will go. Suffice to say that things are not going as smoothly as is being indicated on both sides, on the GNA side and the Haftar side, and any major counterattack that sees GNA forces going east will become very difficult, given that the GNA are not united, and given that the tribes that lend their support to Haftar, or some that are lending their support to the GNA, will only back the winner. They are not backing on the basis of principles. Some of them are sitting back and saying, if Haftar wins, I'll side with Haftar. If Sarraj looks like he's winning, I'll side with Sarraj. That is the situation in Libya. That's how we can follow it. Make sure you subscribe.